everyone, it's Sahara Stars with Astrology doing your November 2018 general astro weather forecast. This is for all the signs and what's going on astrologically for November 2018. I hope you guys had an awesome October. I am filming this in October, so if I happen to slip a little bit, I apologize. We're currently experiencing Venus retrograde, and I want to talk a little bit about that in the intro. So here we go. So Venus retrograde. Venus rules the second and the seventh house of partnership. The second house of what we value, the money we make, and the seventh house of our partners, business partners, and relationships and marriage. So Venus retrograde is about introspection, review, going back, revisiting, whether internally or externally, people coming back from the past, friends, lovers, business partners, associations, you wanting to go back to the past, to friends, lovers, and associations in order to mend things. Retrogrades are opportunities to go back and mend things, to go back, revisit, and see if there was something there that maybe perhaps you missed. Life moves fast. We move fast. We make decisions quickly. All the planets are influencing us. Each has its proper purpose. All of them combined and used appropriately and balanced is the best possible way for us to live our lives. We are all of the signs, meaning that we have 12 houses occupying all 12 signs. So we have attributes of each of the signs in each of our houses in a particular area in our life that we play out in that particular sign's perspective. So Venus is a very important planet in astrology when it comes to the things that we desire, what we value, our love nature, the money we make, acquisition, diplomacy, relationships, partnerships, marriage, beauty in all its forms. So when Venus is retrograde, we tend to internalize and reflect on all these things. And often we can, through our lives, separate relationships, break off with friends, break off with lovers, break off with business partners, change directions at jobs, the way we make our money. All of this is Venus retrograde. And Venus retrograde gives us an opportunity to revisit those, to see if we made the right decision, to see if we chose the right path. Retrogrades are opportunistic times to take advantage of in order to review things and see things in a different light to make the best possible decision. Now, Venus retrograde is a common time along with Mercury retrograde and pretty much all of the retrogrades for us to go back and revisit a particular situation, person, or thing. This can be a business project that you were working on that you thought about doing and you didn't actually start, that you suddenly go, you know, I really want to start that. It could be a friendship that you ended, that maybe ends up contacting you or you end up contacting them in order to repair the relationship, to find the middle ground. Or it's times where you end friendships. You realize things about your relationship or a friendship or a business partnership or the way that you've been making money or how much you've been charging, what your value is. All of this stuff is revisited during Venus retrograde, and Venus retrograde is an opportunistic time to mend bridges, to go back and revisit things. It's also a very good time to reevaluate what it is that you value. What's important to you? What matters to you? What do you need in love? What do you need in money? What do you want to acquire? What kind of physical changes would you like to make? You know, it's all about beauty, the arts, music, money, love, romance, friendship, partnership, marriage. So if you're in a relationship, you might be reviewing your relationship. You might be kind of thinking like, you know, am I happy in this relationship? Am I getting what I need in this relationship? Am I being valued? If you're out of a relationship, you might be thinking about ex-relationships, thinking, wow, this person, maybe I wasn't at the right place when I met this person. Or maybe you're thinking about what a jerk they were. It all depends, and it's different for everyone. But we do internalize, reflect, review, and revisit during retrogrades. Now we just came out of retrograde mania, which was when all the planets were retrograde. Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter, Mars. Mars is direct, Pluto's direct, Saturn's direct, Jupiter is direct, now Venus is retrograde. And this month, in November, we're going to have Mercury turn retrograde. Mercury turns retrograde often, more often than the others. Venus, it's every 2 years. The rest of the planets, and Mars, 2 years. And the rest of the planets, like Pluto, the outer planets, are like approximately 5 months, 5 to 6 months. And Mercury is the more frequent one that often does, because it's the closest to the sun and it catches up to the Earth's speed more frequently. So Mercury does retrograde more often, and this month we're going to have Mercury turn retrograde. But the good news is, first, Venus will turn direct on the 16th in the sign of Libra. So all the reflection, revisiting, and patching up you can do, or not patching up, or discovering things about you and your own values and your own needs should be accumulating by the time it turns direct, or at least to where you find better clarity on the 16th when it turns direct in Libra. And then it's going to move into Scorpio, and that will be on the 1st of November or the 2nd of November when Venus actually enters Scorpio. So all you Scorpios are going to have Venus in your sign, which is going to be awesome. That makes you an attraction magnet, and that just is really good. So for all the rest of you, look at where Scorpio is in your chart to find out where you're going to get the benefits of Venus, which is beauty, grace, money, love, and all that stuff. Neptune is also going to turn direct, and Neptune represents our compassion, sensitivity, dream world, fantasies, illusions, and self-sacrifice. Neptune gives us those rose-colored glasses to wear that makes everything look a little bit brighter, prettier, sweeter, and we tend to be a lot more compassionate with Neptune in any aspect to any of our planets or the house that it's transiting. Now, we can also be delusional, self-deluded. We can be tricked, because we are not seeing things clearly. We are seeing things in a brighter light. In a brighter light, a more glamorous one. Neptune rules over unicorns, if you know what I mean. Neptune rules over the movie industry and, fantastical things. So when Neptune's retrograde, it's about reviewing how much you have sacrificed. See, when Neptune transits, you can't expect to get something back. Remember, Neptune's about self-sacrifice. Now, it's also about creativity and about dreaming and sensitivity and compassion, which is all necessary. Like I said, all the planets have their role, and them being used in balance is where happiness lies. Too much self-sacrifice and giving with zero return is not good for the soul. It drains the body, it drains the mind, it drains the soul. So when you take on people or situations or things where you are constantly giving, and not getting back, that's not healthy. And Neptune retrograde is about reviewing where you've been giving too much. It's also about where you've been deluding yourself. It's also about how clearly have you been seeing things. When Neptune retrogrades, it kind of removes the veil so you can see things clearer. You can also internalize a lot more, and you can still feel very sensitive and compassionate, but you really are lacking more of the rose-colored glasses during the retrograde motion. Now that Neptune is going to move direct, we have to watch out for self-deluding ourselves, for giving more than we actually get back, which is not wrong, okay? Being compassionate and generous is necessary, and it brings good karma, and self-sacrifice is a beautiful thing when you're helping someone in need and you're trying to help them. But the problem becomes when you start giving too much and you get nothing in return, and you are expecting something in return. With the rose-colored glasses on, we see everybody is glamorous, everybody is wonderful. We brush off the things that are deceiving or the things that we don't want to see. That's why under Neptune's influence, we can go for the wrong people, that we see signs that something's not right, okay? But we brush it off because we see what's behind that. We see the inner soul, which every soul started as a baby, as a beautiful soul, and we see the inner part of them, but we don't understand that by giving and by accepting and sacrificing ourselves, we cannot expect anything in return. This is where the delusion and self-illusions and delusions and all this stuff comes in, is if we deny the reality, if we're being lied to, we don't ask the proper questions, we accept somebody who's a total train wreck into our life, and we love them unconditionally, and then they end up leaving us, or they hurt us, or they betray us, and then we go, oh, I was wronged, that was wrong. But when in reality, you shouldn't have been doing it to get something back. You should have been helping this person to help them, knowing and understanding the reality of the situation. If the person's not giving as much as you are giving, and they're not giving anything, they're just taking or draining your energy, you're finding yourself exhausted in a situation, place, job, relationship, then you need to question that. And that's what Neptune retrograde is about. It's about seeing things from a clearer perspective. Now that Neptune is going to be moving direct on November 24th, the illusions are going to come back on again. Things are going to be a little more glamorous, a lot more romantic, a lot more mystical, a lot more beautiful. You're going to be feeling a lot more sensitive. And you have to look at the house of where Neptune is currently transiting. And it's currently transiting in the sign of Pisces, which is its home. Pisces is compassionate, sensitive, self-sacrificing, accepting of everybody, loving, but can be deceiving, delusional, living in fantasy land, not realistic. There's a positive and a negative to every planet, okay? Each planet plays its role, and in balance, like I said, is where we find our happiness. Too much giving and not receiving is not where we find our happiness. Saturn is about boundaries, restrictions, and limitations, a very necessary part of our life, because Uranus is about breaking tradition, breaking free, innovation, being rebellious, revelations, technology and its advancement. And Saturn is the son of Uranus, which Uranus is the sky god, which is all about the sky and its boundlessness and its possibilities, which is awesome because we need to grab onto that creativity and help move humanity forward into innovation and all that stuff. But Saturn, its boundaries and rings and limitations and history, being the father of time, is like, think about the consequences first before you act, because there are consequences. And Saturn is judgment and consequences and law and order and boundaries and restrictions and limitations. Now, too much Saturn is not healthy or good. When you restrict yourself, bound yourself, and limit yourself too much to where you don't do anything, or you're too hard on yourself, or somebody's too hard on you, they're too Saturn on you, or you're experiencing a very difficult Saturn where you feel like you're going up against blockages and walls and constant having to, like, you know, and low energy and lethargy, or whatever transit Saturn is occurring for you. Saturn is currently transiting in Capricorn, so Capricorns are feeling it, but Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. And Saturn is about law, order, and justice. Okay? Without justice, there's chaos. In the beginning of the universe, there was chaos, who created Eros, which needed love, because chaos just gets nowhere. Uranus is about innovation and future forward, but too much future forward and too much jumping and rebellion and breaking free with no limitations is not healthy either. So each planet plays a role. Beauty is Venus's area, and love and money and glamour and all those things that bring us pleasure. Mars is about taking action, the warrior spirit. Without taking action, we'd never get anywhere, and we'd never have any warriors to fight the fights that we had to fight to get where we are today. So too much Neptune, too much dreaming and fantasizing without any Saturn boundaries and restrictions and limitations and real reality, and Mars action isn't good. And too much innovation and future forward fast technology. Let's just keep going as quickly as we can without thinking things through. Saturn is dangerous too. We can create AI that can destroy us. We can bring a virus back from another planet that can destroy us. I just saw a movie about that the other day. It was pretty crazy. I can't remember what it's called. I'm sorry. But anyway, I'm just painting a picture for the planets before we get into all these transits and what's happening and how it's necessary to balance all the planets and all the signs. Each sign has a quality that is a benefit. Virgo's perfectionism creates quality, but too much perfectionism can hold you back from putting anything out. Libra's relationship balance, ruled by Venus, about give and take in relationships, is healthy and good, but too much indecision can be dangerous and bad, listening to too many other people and not coming up with a decision. But the balance in relationships of give and take is what's necessary. Libra is ruled by Venus. Venus is retrograde. Venus will be turning direct on the 16th in Libra, the relationship sign. So it's about reevaluating relationships, reevaluating give and take, reevaluating what's important to you. What do you value? So Neptune, self-sacrifice, compassion, sensitivity, dreams, fantasies, all that stuff, very important. Saturn, restrictions, boundaries, law and order, government, justice, very important. Pluto, power, digging up and purging deeply held emotions, personal power, unveiling secrets, pulling out the truth behind the scenes, exposing people for their bad deeds. Each planet plays a role in our lives, and it's the universal law or government, so to speak. So Pluto's good for personal power and for experience, passion. To experience intense emotions is good sometimes, but to all in balance. The moon is emotion and nurture, love, home, Mother Earth, our mothers. We need that. We need cooking and home food and blankets and pillows, everything that rolls the home, the coziness, the comforts we have. The sun is our pride and ego and our need to shine and to be recognized and to be an individual, which rules over Leo. And that gives us the creative self-expression of actors and things like that. And that combined with Neptune. So each of the planets play a role and each are very important. And to understand that each experience that we all are each experiencing by transit and these planetary transits that are occurring on a universal level or on a planet level are very important too to our evolution, for us learning. Now, November is going to be great because Neptune is going to turn direct, Venus is going to turn direct, so we're going to have primarily all the planets direct except for Uranus. Yeah, we got Saturn direct, Jupiter direct, Venus direct, Mars finally direct, and Venus will be direct, Neptune will be direct, and Saturn is already direct. So we got everything moving forward, which means it's time to push our plans forward. After reevaluating our love lives and our relationships and the things that we value with Venus retrograde, then we can start making better decisions again in the future. All retrograde planets are opportunities to go back and fix things, mend things, make them better, let go of, move forward. So Venus turns direct on the 16th, Neptune turns direct on November 24th. Watch out for any illusions of grandeur and also of giving more than you take in your relationships. Wherever Neptune is transiting in your chart, you want to be cautious and you just want to think things through of consequence. And you also want to understand that compassion, generosity, giving and helping people is a good thing. As long as it's not draining your life force and leaving you empty, do things with balance. Virgo is about service as well, but it's about helping people get better, not enabling them. Neptune can sometimes enable people. Accepting somebody however they are, or accepting or loving unconditionally can be dangerous territory, because then you are loved back without conditions, or you're not loved back at all. But that's unconditional love. That means you love even if it's not coming back to you. You're loving without getting anything in return. You're giving without giving anything in return. Okay? So that's why Neptune's about self-sacrifice. It means that you could put yourself out for someone else. But often we get deluded or hurt or disappointed because we invested in the wrong person, or we tried to help somebody and they didn't care or they didn't appreciate it. That's just what that is about. And so you can't expect anything in return if you are helping somebody who's unable to help themselves. So it's always better to help somebody help themselves than to love them unconditionally. Now, unconditional love exists within family members, of course, because it's the way it is. You know, we're blood related. We're just like, okay, you know, even if we can't stand them, we love them because they're a family member. Unconditional love can be between friends, between somebody that you don't know. That's when you go and you help a homeless person or somebody that's struggling and you just go help them. That's unconditional. You're just helping them because you don't want anything back. Okay? So when you're in a relationship that's not giving back to you anything at all, and you are doing all the work and you are loving them unconditionally, you are enabling their behavior. And that's the important lesson to learn about Neptune, is that Neptune's compassion and unconditional love is a beautiful thing, but you can't expect anything back. You are helping to help, not to earn love back, not to get money back, not to get something back. And so if you are going to be doing that, then you want to think about what your motivation is in being in that relationship. Why are you in a relationship where you are not getting anything back, where the person is just taking from you? For example, being in love with a drug addict or an alcoholic, and the person is just about them. They just want to get drunk. They want to get high. They want to do what they want. And you just love them and you clean up the mess and you do all this stuff. You are enabling them to continue on the path that they are going on. In a love relationship, if you are with somebody who is treating you poorly, not calling you back, never returning your calls, hanging up on you, yelling at you, disrespecting you, and you keep calling them back, you are enabling them. That's what Neptune is about. And Pluto is about personal power and about standing up for what's right and for loving yourself in the right way. And that's Venus and Pluto and all that. But loving yourself, you don't allow anyone to treat you badly. And you also help them change. You promote change through you not accepting the bad behavior. So I'm talking about this a lot because Neptune's going direct, and because Venus is retrograde. And Venus is going direct this month. But while I'm doing this, Venus is retrograde, which is about reevaluation of relationships of give and take, and what are you getting out of them, and are you reinforcing bad behavior? Are you in love with the jerk, and why? Did you not go for the right person for all the wrong reasons? You know, did you treat a friend bad and then the friendship ended? Did the friend treat you bad and you ended it because you have self-respect? Whatever the situation is, I'm just covering all the different possibilities of what it's about. Also about creative endeavors. Any jobs, money opportunities, business ideas, things like that, going over, revisiting them and putting them together. Going back and fixing them, making them better, improving them. Same thing goes for love relationships. If you're in a love relationship, are you getting what you want, what you need, what you deserve? Are you loving yourself enough? Are you loving enough? These are the types of things that Venus retrograde rolls over. Venus turns direct on the 16th in Libra, the partnership sign. Neptune turns direct on November 24th, so we have to watch out for deluding ourselves and for having expectations out of people that are unable to give us what we want or what we need. And that if we help somebody or that we tolerate situations unconditionally, we are enabling them. So it's important to realize that during Neptune's retrograde motion, and since it will be turning direct on November 24th, it's good to realize that previous to. Jupiter is going to enter Sagittarius. All right, for you Sagittarians, that means that you are going to be lucky and abundant. Not that you already aren't, because it is your ruling planet. And Jupiter is very important. It rules the 9th house of expansion, learning, long distance travel, philosophy, religion, government, politics, all of that stuff. And Jupiter is about luck and abundance by transit and can make things much bigger. So Jupiter transiting in Sagittarius is going to make us all feel a lot luckier, a lot more abundant, and it's going to change the atmosphere a little bit because it was transiting through Scorpio, which is very deep. Now, deep and intense. So a lot of us could be having deep, intense experiences, purging of emotions, secrets unveiled, hidden things that were uncovered all during Jupiter's transit through Scorpio. Some people could meet soulmates and twin flames and all of that stuff while Jupiter was transiting Scorpio as well. But now it's going to be moving into Sagittarius on the 8th of November. And now that it changes signs into Sagittarius, we're going to feel kind of a little heaviness lifted off of us, okay? And Jupiter makes us feel lucky, and he teaches us that having faith and believing in ourselves and trusting will get us everywhere. And Sagittarians know this better than anything. By being positive, positive things happen. And Sagittarians are generally lucky as a result of having this as their ruling planet because of their optimism and their ability to see the future and look to the future with optimism. So the change from Jupiter into Sagittarius is going to be a very positive one for everybody. But you got to look at your own personal chart of where Sagittarius is in your chart to see where you're going to see luck and abundance coming to you specifically according to your sign. But as for Sagittarians or Sagittarius rising, even Sagittarius moons, you guys are going to be feeling a lot more lucky, expansive, abundant, and fortune's going to be turning in your favor. Not that it hasn't already, but for some of you that have been experienced maybe more of a tougher transit coming out of Saturn, you're going to really appreciate Jupiter moving into Sagittarius. And for Capricorns, that will be in your 12th house of dreams and fantasies and faith building. It's going to be a really optimistic time for you Capricorns as well. And for Scorpios, this is good news for you too, because it's going to be in your 2nd house of money. So you guys are going to be increasing your wealth, increasing your finances, building a stronger financial structure, and finding luck and abundance coming through acquisition, acquiring things as well. And for Libras, it's going to be in your 3rd house of communication and driving and travel. And a luck and abundance will come through there through cars and transportation and technology. And for Virgos, it's going to be in your 4th house of home. So you guys will be expanding your home, moving maybe even, adding new family members, all of that stuff. And for Leos, it's going to be in your 5th house of love and romance, and creativity, self-expression, and children. So this is going to be really good for you guys. You guys are going to find love, looking for love for you Leos, or creative work, those that are working in talent or the arts, actors, or anything like that. Self-expression, anybody that works for themselves and self-expression, you're going to feel positive, and it's really, really good for love, luck, and children, having a child. For Cancers, it's going to be in your 6th house of health and fitness and wellness. So you guys are going to be doing a better workout regime, taking better care of your health. You're going to be getting along well with your coworkers. For Geminis, it's going to be in your 7th house of relationships and partnerships and marriage. So you guys will be expanding your network, your friendship zones, and your relationships. Some of you could get married if you're already in a relationship. You guys will definitely be expanding your relationships and your partnerships in all shapes and forms, which is awesome. For Taurus, it's going to be in your 8th house of other people's money and resources, along with banks, institutions, loans, credit cards, and winnings, lotto, inheritance, all of that stuff. So you guys are going to be improving your finances and making a lot of money too, which is awesome. Now, remember, these are general, so you have to look at your rising sign, listen to your rising sign also, or look at your rising sign. This is just a general forecast for all signs of the planetary transit of Jupiter. I'm not going through all the other planets, but this is just a general forecast of what we can all kind of expect. But based on sun signs only right now, not the rising signs. The rising signs will be, you can also look at your rising sign and know where it's going to be transiting, but it'll be at different degrees for everyone. And for Aries, it's going to be your 9th house of long distance travel and foreign things and expansion and higher learning and going back to school. And for Pisces, it's going to be in your 10th house of career and fame and fortune and legacy and publicity. So Jupiter is going to be transiting there for you guys. And for Aquarius, it's going to be in your 11th house of friends, which is the house that you rule. Friends, groups, associations, clubs, anything like that. So you guys will be expanding your network, hanging out with friends more, feeling more popular. And then for Capricorns, it's your 12th house of faith and belief and fantasies and dreams and spiritual help and protection. So Jupiter's transit into Sagittarius is going to be really awesome for everyone. It's a big deal because it's the biggest planet that brings luck and abundance and happiness to all. So going back to what's going on. All right, so Venus is going to be transiting Scorpio. So again, we're looking at, for Libras, this is your 2nd house of money. For Virgos, this is your 3rd house of communication. For Leos, this is your 4th house of home. For Cancers, this is your 5th house of love and romance. For Geminis, this is your 6th house of health and fitness and wellness. For Taurus, this is your 7th house of relationships and partnerships, business partnerships. And for Aries, this is your 8th house of other people's money, resources, credit cards, big money. Pisces, this is your 9th house of long distance travel, foreign lands, higher learning. Aquarius, this is your 10th house of career. So fame and fortune and career and legacy and your place in the world. And for Capricorns, this is going to be your 11th house of friends. So Sagittarius, it will be your 12th house of hidden things, dream world fantasies and belief systems and spiritual help and behind the scenes. So it's going to be really, really a great month for pretty much everyone. Of course, there are all kinds of other aspects happening, so you do have to take those into consideration. And if you have your own personal birth chart with your own time, you can go to my site at www.illumastrology.com and you can look up the specific transits that you're going through and read specifically for you, okay? So we're going to have a new moon also in Scorpio, and that's going to be on the 7th of November. New moons bring endings and beginnings to things. So new beginnings are going to start. New doors are going to open. They kind of push things fast forward into the future, make things move really quickly. And that's really exciting. So new moons always bring new opportunities and new stuff. In Scorpio is a sign of uncovering secrets, hidden things, passion, intensity, sharing of resources, all of that stuff. So there could be endings and beginnings in that area. And the full moon this month is going to be in Gemini on the 22nd, and that's going to be at 10:39 p.m. And on the 22nd in Gemini, Gemini rules over communication, thinking, communication, multitasking, and local environment, neighborhood, travel, computers, technology, and information. So those areas will be illuminated. Now, look to the house where these will be occurring for you, Gemini, and also the new moon in Scorpio to see where you can expect the endings and beginnings and new beginnings and things moving quickly for you in that area according to where Scorpio or Gemini is in your chart. So on the 8th, Jupiter enters Sagittarius. On the 9th, Venus in Libra will trine Mars in Aquarius, which is an awesome day for all relationships and for pretty much everything. It's Venus, it's the feminine and the masculine working together in the sign of Libra and Aquarius in air signs, which are intellectual signs, which are about relationships and friendships. So it's a good day to hang out with friends or hang out with your partner or to even find a partner if you're single. On the 15th, Mars in Aquarius will sextile Uranus in Aries. And this is a very bold and daring day. And this is a day where you might want to try something new and you'll be lucky and fortunate in doing so on the 15th. On the 16th, Venus moves direct in Libra. So we're going to finally close up all of our reevaluations, going back and start moving forward with our new ideas and new findings in terms of whether or not a relationship is going to work, whether or not we went back to one or not, whether or not we're going to repair a relationship or not, whether or not we're going to start that new project, whether or not we did, all that stuff that's Venus ruled. On the 19th, Mars in Pisces is going to square Jupiter in Sagittarius, and this is a day where you probably don't want to make a major decision. If you've already planned on making the decision, or you got to sign a contract on this day previous to this day and 2 days afterwards, that's fine, because you've already thought about it and you've already made the decision. But if you have to make the decision or something comes across your path on this day, think about it first thoroughly, because of the fact that Mars in Pisces is already sort of optimistic and, willing to take chances, and sometimes confused about which decision or where to go or how to make, or what to do. And then Jupiter in Sagittarius is all about faith and optimism. So you can be in this big bubble this day where you're just like, a big delusional bubble where everything just sounds like a great idea, but it might not be. But it's going to be a very optimistic, creative day. So if you want to do any creative endeavors, definitely go about doing that, because it's a very creative day and a day to take some creative action or steps in a direction. But be careful about making too big of a step with Mars and Jupiter square. Since Mars will be in Pisces on the 16th. On the 19th. On the 24th, Neptune turns direct in Pisces. So remember what I was saying earlier about that. And then on the 26th, Mercury in Sagittarius will square Mars in Pisces. And so we'll be a lot more blunt, direct, and perhaps even thought-provoking. Mercury is the mind and Mars is just pure warrior action energy. But Mars will be in Pisces, which softens things out. When Mars is in Pisces, it's more of a mystical time, and it tends to be maybe lower on energy and lower on action than Mars typically would be in any other sign, or confused about its steps or where it should go or how it should go about doing it. Mercury is the way that we're thinking, so it's a very creative day, but it's a day where we might want to think things through before we say them. The 27th, Mars in Pisces will sextile Saturn in Capricorn, which is actually good, because Mars in Pisces is grounded when it's sextile Saturn in the sign of Capricorn. So that's a really good day to do to start something creative, to do something romantic, anything like that. Mostly creative. And on the same day, Mercury in Sagittarius will conjunct Jupiter in Sagittarius before it turns retrograde this month. And that's a very fortunate day and a very lucky day and a feel-good day and a good day to say and ask for what you want on the 27th, because Mercury conjunct Jupiter is just fortune in your favor during communications, travel, or anything like that. On the 30th, though, Venus in Libra will oppose Uranus in Aries. So if you're in a relationship, be careful about sudden desire to be free. A sudden urge to just run out of the house. A sudden urge to want to go hang out with friends and be single for the day. It's okay. Uranus is about personal freedom, breaking free, rebellion, trying something new. With Venus, it's in the opposition. It can be erratic, a little sudden, impulsive energy. So just be careful, but otherwise it's very creative and it's a good time to try something new. Mercury entered retrograde phase in Scorpio on October 28th, but it's actually officially turning retrograde on the 16th of this month. Mercury will turn retrograde on the 16th in Sagittarius, and it will be in retrograde motion until December 6th, where it goes direct at 4:23 p.m. in Scorpio. So Mercury retrograde, again, like all the other retrogrades, is about reviewing, going over old territory, revisiting, going back, redoing your website, redoing technology, buying a new phone, repairing your broken phone, repairing your car. Things can go wrong during Mercury retrograde, but things come back too in order for you to fix or repair them. And if it does break, it's Murphy's Law. It was going to happen anyway, and Mercury retrograde is just promoting you to be as efficient as possible and to get something new, faster, and better. So Mercury retrograde is about revisiting old things, thinking about stuff, internalizing all of that stuff. And since it's going to be turning retrograde in Sagittarius and going back to Scorpio, we're going to feel like we're going back to more deeper things. We're kind of revisiting the deeper hidden parts of ourselves, and also revisiting things that are of the past that maybe we didn't start as well. But also old relationships, friendships, and things like that, similarly to Venus retrograde. Retrogrades are always about going back and trying to mend, fix, or make better things. So just be cautious about, hiccups here and there. Make sure that you double check your text messages and email messages and everything before you send them, because mishaps do happen during Mercury retrograde. But it is a good time to buy technology. I've bought a lot of technology and cars many cars actually during Mercury retrograde, and I don't have it Mercury retrograde in my chart, but just be careful and think things through and make sure that you get a warranty and stuff like that. I mean, you should do that anyway, but if something does break down, it's okay to replace it and repair it or buy something new. And it's also a good time to revisit old relationships, friendships, or whatever, if you feel the need to revisit it. If you're single and you're thinking about an ex and you think how things went wrong and you'd like to touch base with them, then that's okay. If you don't feel like doing that, then don't. If it's over, it's over. Just make sure you think things through clearly, because Mercury retrograde is about mending, revisiting things from the past and making things better. And it could be as far as work is concerned, it could be as far as relationships are concerned, or any aspect of your life. It's a good time to redo stuff and make them better, perfect them. So this is a general astro weather forecast for all the signs. I didn't cover everything specifically because I'm so busy this month between my tarot readings and my personal readings and my astrology readings. I don't have the time to do the personal astrology forecast for each sign, but I'm going to do the tarot reading for November for each sign. Because they're quicker and it's easier to do for right now because of my workload. I appreciate all your support. If you haven't subscribed and you want to get notification of my uploads as they come, because I do a lot of the aspects, placements, and everything. I'm developing my YouTube channel right now. You can also read about all the aspects and transits and everything for you personally at my website at www.illumastrology.com, or to get your own personal reading. This is actually my first time doing an actual video of me in it. I was doing podcasts before, but I decided to do a live video so I can say hi to everyone and you can see me for a change. And I hope that you guys found this helpful for November 2018 astrology general weather forecast of the aspects and the transits. And if you did, please give it a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe, click the bell to get notified of all my uploads. I'm going to be adding a lot more. And for your own personal reading, you can visit my site as well, www.illumastrology.com. I'm sending you guys positive energy for all the best, wishing you all the best, and make the best of it. Thanks so much for joining me. Until next time.